Sometimes, pride often casts a long shadow, making us feel invincible and towering above all others. It whispers promises of greatness, convincing us that our own strength is the only measure of worth. Yet, this very elevation can blind us to the true landscape of life. It can obscure the paths of connection, the valleys of understanding, and the quiet streams of genuine peace. True wisdom often begins not with a boast, but with a humble bow. This is a story of such a journey, from the isolating peak of arrogance to the fertile ground of humility. Once, in a bustling town, lived a craftsman named Samuel, whose hands possessed an extraordinary gift. His creations were renowned for their intricate beauty and flawless execution. Admiration flowed freely, and with each compliment, Samuel's chest swelled a little more. He began to believe his talent was unmatched, a divine endowment that set him apart. Soon, a subtle disdain crept into his interactions, a quiet arrogance that dismissed the efforts of others. He saw apprentices not as eager learners, but as clumsy shadows incapable of reaching his lofty standard. His pride became a wall, steadily growing taller around him. But pride, like a poorly built foundation, cannot sustain a lasting structure. Samuel's meticulousness began to wane, replaced by a careless overconfidence. His tools, once cherished, were neglected, and his focus shifted from the craft itself to the applause it garnered. Imperfections, once unthinkable, started to appear in his work. Customers, discerning and accustomed to his perfection, noticed the decline. Their admiration turned to disappointment, then to absence. Samuel's workshop, once a hive of activity, grew quiet and empty. He was left with only his frustration and the bitter taste of isolation, a stark consequence of his own inflated self-regard. In the quiet despair of his empty shop, an old monk, with eyes that held the wisdom of ages, appeared. Samuel, still steeped in his bitterness, scoffed at the intrusion, seeing no value in the monk's gentle presence. Yet the monk spoke with a voice like a soft breeze, carrying a profound truth. He spoke of a tree that stands stiff and unyielding against the storm, its branches brittle with pride. Such a tree, he explained, is destined to break under the tempest's fury. But the tree that learns to bow, to sway with the wind, survives and thrives, its roots growing deeper with each challenge. These words, simple yet profound, began to chip away at Samuel's hardened heart. The monk's parable resonated deeply within Samuel, stirring a long-dormant humility. He began to see his past actions not as strengths, but as weaknesses that had led to his downfall. His first step on the path of transformation was a difficult one, a journey not of miles, but of ego. He sought out his former apprentice, the one he had so carelessly dismissed. With a sincerity he hadn't known he possessed, Samuel knelt, not in defeat, but in genuine apology. He offered to share his knowledge freely, to teach without expectation, to guide with kindness. This act of giving, of lifting another, began to mend the broken pieces within himself. As Samuel embraced humility, his workshop slowly began to transform once more. It was no longer a monument to his singular talent, but a vibrant space of shared learning and collaboration. The apprentice, now a student, brought new energy and fresh perspectives. Others, drawn by Samuel's newfound openness, came to learn and contribute. Laughter and the joyful sounds of creation filled the air again. Samuel's work regained its former brilliance, imbued now with a deeper sense of purpose and connection. He found a peace that surpassed any fleeting pride, a joy rooted in genuine contribution and shared success. His heart, once burdened by arrogance, was now light with contentment. Samuel's journey reminds us that pride, while seemingly a source of strength, is often a fragile illusion. It builds walls, isolating us from the very connections that nourish our souls. Humility, conversely, is the true architect of bridges, fostering understanding, empathy, and lasting relationships. It is not a surrender of self, but an expansion of self, allowing us to learn, grow, and connect more deeply with the world around us. The gift of humility does not diminish you, it empowers you. It is the quiet strength that allows you to bend without breaking, to learn without judgment, and to truly thrive. Choose humility, and choose a strength that endures.